Because if Nigeria is working for you, you don't need as a VIP to carry security up and down. Do you get? You can be a billionaire driving your G-Wagon. You are not going with any mopo because no one is kidnapping you. Tourism. Let me even shock you. There was a time I went for my guys' trad in Ezeago in Enugu State. So the wife's community is very close to a waterfall. The thing was like movie. Somebody said, let's just go. We went there. I saw a waterfall though. But that place was completely undeveloped.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, boss.
How are you doing? We've had you before in the studio, so welcome back again to the Naija We Need channel. So we try to talk about the Nigeria economic transformation. Yeah. So the first question will be like, how would you describe the current state of Nigeria's economy, and what are the key factors driving the transformation itself?
Driving or that are meant to drive?
Yeah, meant to drive, yes.
So good evening, bro. I'm happy to be back here. I was there sometime last year, right? Before the elections. And then, thank God I'm here once more. So, like you asked, what is the current state of the economy? My own very candid view, the economy is in shambles. The state of the economy is really terrible. It's really bad. In fact, I don't know how else to put it. It is the pain the masses are going through is excruciating. That is just it. The state of the economy, in fact, for the past probably 2 years or more, things have been going steadily from bad to worse. I think that probably in the worst possible state right now. So that is my view. Then the next question, what can we do to reverse the trend, or at least ameliorate the hardship being faced by Nigerians? You know, there was something I saw some weeks back where there was like an economic comparison of the economy of Nigeria during the tenure of Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan, and Buhari. Essentially, I'm not an economist, but from what I saw, there was a steady trend of going from bad to worse. Like under Obasanjo, things were maybe not wow, but things were okay. Yar'Adua didn't stay so long, but things were still fine. Jonathan, things were not rosy, but under Buhari, things entered a whole different level. Now things are so bad. There are some weeks I spend like 50k just to buy fuel. I'm not a businessman, no, I'm not an industrialist. I'm spending 50k just to buy fuel. So imagine you are a business and your neighborhood, most times there's no lights. You have to spend a lot of money just to buy gas or fuel. That is how bad things are. Now, what can be done to reverse this? Every government that comes in pledges they are going to fix the economy. But most times, they don't go beyond lip service. So beyond rhetorics, the things we are going to do, number one, everybody has said it at some point, diversification of the economy. Nigeria remains almost completely reliant on oil revenue. Even the tax we are talking of, most of the tax that Nigeria gets, or a huge percentage, is still tax that comes from the petroleum sector. You know? So one, there is need to diversify the economy. When you talk about diversifying the economy, beyond petroleum, which is a depreciating asset, most countries in the next 20 to 30 years, you see very little of people using fossil fuel. Because if you go to other countries, for example, most people now use electric cars or at least hybrid cars. Me now in my house, I use inverter. I don't even have generator. So many people are going. So it's clear that oil is a depreciating asset, and the oil prices for the past couple of years have also not been high. So that's one. Diversify the economy, open up the space. We have a lot in Nigeria that we can go into. Number one, agriculture. Obviously, I hadn't been born in the 60s, but watching documentaries, reading books, I heard of the groundnut pyramids in Kano. I heard of cocoa in the southwest, palm oil and the rest of them. So this is arguably the easiest one we can start with. Agriculture and agro-allied businesses. I mean, we have vast swaths of fertile land where we have a very temperate climate. So if the federal government, working together with the states and local governments, the private sector, NGOs and the rest of them, if we can find a way to actually develop our agricultural sector, it has the potential to employ millions of people. Then when you add the agro-allied sector, you see that it's something that can contribute a lot so that we can become a net food exporter and not food importer. One, it will give us valuable foreign exchange or foreign currency. It will reduce our importation, reduce the strain on the naira. This is one thing we can start with. Next, we go to manufacturing. Everybody talks about Aba. Everybody talks about Onitsha. I like what I'm seeing about the governor in Abia, what he's doing, but we need to do more. If we can open up in every state, we'll make sure we have at least one manufacturing hub that is efficient. We can start with the day-to-day things, normal things that we use on a daily basis. There are some things we should not be importing these days. You talk of furniture, for example. Most hotels in Nigeria, most rich men's houses, the furniture comes from abroad. I don't know why we can't have top quality furniture in this country. Even cars, from what I read or heard, back then most of the major car manufacturers had assembling plants in Nigeria. Imagine if we had assembling plant of Toyota in Nigeria, because virtually every household in Nigeria has a Toyota, whether it's Prado, whether it's Corolla, whether it's Camry. Imagine if we assembled plants in Nigeria. We assembled Toyota cars in Nigeria, Mercedes, Peugeot, Hyundai. I think there's Hyundai now. I don't know whether it's really functioning. I think I heard Dangote bought Pan. I don't know whether it has started functioning. But these are things we can do that can create jobs, reduce the strain on the foreign exchange and the rest of them. So you talk about agriculture, manufacturing, even in the services industry. There is a lot that can be done. We have seen that in recent times, Nigerian youths have done very well in the entertainment sector. I mean, you talk of Nollywood, they're really going far these days. I think a tribe called you that the other day. They said they grossed ₦1 billion. Talk about musicians. Our musicians are all over the place. Comedians are trying. So there's a lot we can do to open up the entertainment space. So many people can get jobs, can be self-employed, doing comedy, doing movies, doing music, with the associated jobs that are there. Another thing we can look into is, another thing that will improve the economy is addressing the core security challenges. I mean, there was a time, if anybody calls me, oh, I have a wedding, I have a trad, almost next 2 hours, I don't dare there. But these days, if you want me to go for an event outside Enugu town or Abakaliki town, you have to be very, very close to me for me to take that risk. I know some very good friends of mine have missed their events because maybe the event was held in Imo, it was held in Abia, so I couldn't just take that risk, So we cannot make progress in our economy if we don't address the core security challenges. Kidnapping is on the rise everywhere. Before it was more of in the northeast, now it's everywhere. Kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, and the rest of them. So the government needs to have the political will to fight this battle. Because anytime you listen to ex-service people talk, retired policemen, soldiers, they will tell you that they know the people doing all these things. So if they are aware of the people doing these things, there is need for that political will to fight them to a standstill, you know. Because why would I want to go to somewhere when I'm not safe? Maybe I'm going here to look for 200,000. If they kidnap me, my family may pay 5 or 10 million. So I would rather manage the small I have here if I can be safe. So there is need to address the core security challenges. Tourism. Because if we want to develop Nigeria, we look inwards. If you look at some of these island countries, Mauritius, and some of these other countries, they're making a lot of money from tourism. In Nigeria, all over the country, we have some very fantastic sites. We have Ikogosi Warm Spring in Ekiti. We have Olumo Rock in Ogun. We have Obunike Cave in Anambra. We have beaches and the rest of them. There was a day I went for MBA conference in 2019 in Lagos. I went to Oniru Beach in VI. About half of the people I saw there that day were white. So white people come to Nigeria a lot. It's just that most of them spend their time in Lagos and Abuja. If you can open up the space more, develop very sustainable paradigms that can attract these people. When Donald Duke was governor of Cross River, we saw the giant strides that were made in the area of tourism. Tinapa, I know when my sister went to Tinapa, my sisters, my mom, they went to Obudu Ranch. They had so many fantastic things to say. So these are things we can do. Let me even shock you. There was a time I went for my guys' trad in Ezeago in Enugu State. So the wife's community is very close to a waterfall. The thing was like movie. Somebody said, let's just go. We went there. I saw a waterfall though. But that place was completely undeveloped. Imagine if the government had said, okay, let's develop this site. Put electricity there, do the road, put a small inn. You can develop that place. People will be coming. Once they feel secure, they have a place to sleep, they have food to eat, partner with private companies and individuals. That space is opened up. That place can be given that local government tens of millions every month. And they will pay tax. It will employ people and the rest of them. So this is another area that can be opened up. You talk of sports. Everybody knows that any day you come to stadium, for example, we are at Abakaliki Stadium, you see hundreds of very talented people. Those playing soccer, those doing boxing, playing table tennis, badminton, volleyball. What plan does Nigeria really have for these people? If you look at other countries, you look at, for example, the USA, do you know that sometimes athletic scholarships are given to some people? They can see you and say, okay, this guy is very wonderful. He can possibly help our team, our school team. They give you scholarship. You might be an average student intellectually, but because you are an A guy when it comes to sports, they sponsor. So this is something that is sustainable. We can have academies, functional academies from a young age, under 10, under 15, under 18. We do it in soccer, do it in basketball, boxing, athletics, and the rest. So this is a sustainable way to create jobs, put food on the tables of people, reduce crime, and the rest of them. After this, another sector that is worth looking into, I've mentioned solving security. We talk of the issue of corruption. I mean, you see what happened the other day. From what I read, Mrs. Betta Edu, what was her name? How many months has she been there? See the amount of money they're calling. You are expecting everybody to keep calm and manage. The other day at Ozodima's inauguration, Tinubu was telling people that they should be optimistic, things will be well. How can we now come down when we know that there is looting on a massive and shocking scale? Like, some of the monies these people call sometimes is mind-boggling. How do you want me to come down when I know somebody, for example, he was living in one room, or he was even squatting. Next thing, he becomes a local government chairman or a commissioner. Next thing, he has a mansion. 10 boys are following him everywhere. And you say that people should calm down. It's obvious that this is our wealth that these people are taking. Because this guy, who was he? The commissioner or the SA or the chairman or whatever. So this is part of the problem. There is need to... I know that you cannot completely remove corruption, but you can at least reduce it to a manageable level, right? Where the EFCC, the ICPC, for me, they can do more, can do more. I'm not saying they're not trying, but there is need for political will to fight some of these things, because you cannot tell me to, when one person is looting maybe 5 billion, 10 billion, do you know what 10 billion is? And one person is looting it. So we don't even know how much ministers, PAMSECs, and the rest. So there is need to fight corruption. If not, any other thing we are doing is lip service. Also very related to need to fight corruption is need to cut down waste. I mean, the waste in Nigeria is too much, honestly. The waste. Like, sometimes I'm out, I'll see a local government chairman or a commissioner. He's carrying convoy. Can you imagine where a chairman is using maybe 4 or 5 car convoy? Waiting governor go down carry down. So there is obviously too much waste. Everything is spectacle. Everything is show. Sometimes I remember when the former British Prime Minister was there, David Cameron, I think. I saw times he was using British Airways. This is one of the biggest economies in the world, and their prime minister sometimes used British Airways. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, governors, I don't think any governor these days enters regular flights, the charter flights, private jets. Governor, of course, president has many private jets at the expense of the country. Do you know that the president of America, every food he eats in the White House, they give him bill for it and he pays for it? His food is not free. But here you see the governor, you see presidents, senators, there is so much waste. You see one person, 20 people, he has 20 aides. What are they aiding you in? You see one person is moving about with 10, 15 people. So there is need to cut down waste. Yes, there's something our president said recently about cutting people that will be going on trips with him and the rest. One of the reasons I actually supported Peter Obi with my whole heart, I voted him, was this one. I'm not saying he's a saint, but in Nigerian terms, he's probably the most honest politician we've seen in a very long time. Then added to that fact, he's someone that wouldn't have been reckless with government money. So these are some of the things we need to do. We need to do them fast. The regulator should do more, because the corruption in the public sector is also in the private sector. And so there is need to actually do it, and do it fast. If not, with the way things are going, the economic challenges will move into the political arena, and I don't know what's going to happen. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. So I will still ask you this question for the last time. This is 2024, right? Yes. So what kind of 2024 do you wish for Nigeria, as in this Tinubu's era? So what kind of Nigeria do you wish for in this 2024 till 2024?
Obviously, me, I'm a Nigerian. Left for me, I want to prosper in Nigeria by God's grace, become rich, lead a healthy life to my old age. So I want a Nigeria that is prosperous, a Nigeria that is safe, where you can drive from here to Abuja, to Kano, without fear of kidnapping. A Nigeria where people have jobs to put food on the table, where you get promotion at the right time, where you are happy to be in. Because, I mean, everybody is jackpotting these days. Even some people that actually believe in Nigeria so much they are jackpying. So it tells you how bad things are. But I know that if the government really means well, that they can take steps immediately to give us, you know, when you are planning in economies, or you have short-term plan, mid-term plan, long-term plan. That you have long-term plan for us, maybe that you are saving money for your child to go to university, does not mean you won't give him dinner. If not, he will die and won't be alive to attend the university. So there's need for a short-term plan. I don't want to hear this humanitarian something, you are paying 15,000 to households. Who has received the 15,000? That is just another word for scam. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Women Affairs, and the rest of that's not what we want. We need a practical and sustainable shift. The subsidy, I feel the subsidy removal should have been phased, not just in one fell swoop. You say you are removing subsidy. They should have done it, and then there should have been greater accountability. The monies spent on subsidy in the last 8 years, how much? Who did it go to? How did the subsidy operate? So I'm an optimist. I want a Nigeria that will work for all of us. Because if Nigeria is working for you, you don't need as a VIP to carry security up and down. Do you get? You can be a billionaire driving your G-Wagon. You are not going with any mopo because no one is kidnapping you. There are CCTV cameras everywhere. The city is safe. That's the kind of Nigeria we want. Where there will be good security, the educational and health institutions will be working, the economy will be vibrant. That is what we want. Thank you. My name is Chidi Nwuzor. Yeah. Pleasure is mine. Thank you. Bless you too.